Hi, Julie Rader here, and today I'm talking about the full moon in Aquarius, the second full moon in a row that we have in Aquarius, and this time it's at 29 degrees. So 29 degrees of the sun is at 29 degree of Leo, and the moon at 29 degree of Aquarius, and that's what makes it a full moon, the sun being opposite the moon. Now, this is a really interesting one because, well, one, it happens on a Sunday, which is the sun's day, and the sun is in its final degree and its final day. Actually, later on this very day, the sun will be changing into Virgo. So it's kind of hanging on to the last bit of its solar glory. And then the moon being at the very end of Aquarius. And these two they opposed each other a month ago when we had the first Aquarius full moon. And that one happened at the very beginning, meaning that it was more of a newer energy, more think of like an infancy energy. So it was this area of life that was put in the spotlight. But then we had the Leo full moon 2 weeks ago, which also happened to be on a Sunday, the sun's day in Leo. The sun is the ruler of Leo, is a really powerful one on the Lion's Gate 8-8, that portal. Hope you did some kind of ritual for it because it was quite powerful. And then now we have this full moon. So we've had basically these last 30 days to whatever came up when we were at the very beginning stages of this area of light being put in the spotlight a month ago. Now the sun and the moon and the other planets are like, okay, now you're more at a senior stage. You've gained a lot of wisdom and a lot has happened in this last month. Now it's time to either let something go completely, and there's been a lot of energy this past month about releasing and letting go. So if you haven't yet, then this full moon is really going to shine a spotlight on, okay, it is time to refine more. It is time to really, really let go of anything that isn't allowing this area of life to shine in its full glory. So less than an hour after this full moon, which happens at 5:01 a.m. Pacific time, so just for your time zone, again, this is on the 22nd of August, less than an hour later, the moon moves into Pisces, which will be a completely different energy. And then later that day, the sun moves into Virgo. So this is one of those full moons that I highly recommend doing some kind of full moon ceremony at the exact time of the full moon. The reason being because you'll miss it if you wait until later in the day, because the moon will already be in Pisces and it'll be a completely different energy. Pisces and Aquarius, very different energy. So I know I'll be setting my alarm to get up early that Sunday and be in sacred meditation, sacred sadhana, to bring in this energy. So this Aquarius full moon is happening very close to where Jupiter is as well, within a couple of degrees. So the sun has strength because it's on a Sunday in Leo. But the moon has a lot of strength because it is with Jupiter, the great benefic. So it's a powerful one. Let's dig right in. So, on the first aspect that this of Aquarius being in the sign, the moon being into an Aquarius is a trine with Venus and Libra, which is really beautiful. So I do feel like this full moon has some really, really nice aspects if we tap into it and if we're willing to, again, look at the areas we need to release. Again, it is at a critical degree, 29 degrees, which can bring some chaos with it, but that's kind of what's happening in our world right now as well. So, okay, let's jump right in. Aries. If you are an Aries, sun, moon, or rising. So if you don't know your rising or your moon, I have a video about how to find it in your chart. So I highly recommend that. But Aries, sun, moon, or rising, this is happening in your 11th house. So again, you had a full moon there a month ago, and this is taking a look at your old goals and aspirations, and maybe they've changed. Also, your friendships. What friendships are supportive? Which ones have maybe served their purpose? What, all relationships in our life, whether they're friendships, romantic relationships, business partnerships, they come into our lives for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And so, if some of them have served their purpose, they've served their reason or their season, perhaps it's time to let go. The full moon, everything is being shown in its full glory. And anything if there's too much on the plate, we need to shed and let go so that we can prioritize what it is. 11th house is also the house of groups, tribes, like-minded people. So are you interacting with like-minded people, with people that uplift you, that support you, that really are in alignment with your goals? Prioritize that, and with love, release the rest, knowing that they've served their reason or their season has passed. Taurus. Sun, moon, or rising. This is happening in your 10th house. So Taurus, 10th house, this is very much for you about career. This full moon is huge. It's career and social status. So taking a look, you're a fixed sign, Taurus. You're the most fixed of the fixed. You're fixed earth. So perhaps the last full moon, you had the feeling that maybe a shift needed to happen in your career, maybe a change altogether, or a change in pivoting in how you do things. And with you, Taurus, it very well could have been like, okay, you had that thought, but maybe haven't taken action on it yet. With this full moon, critical degree, same house being activated in the spotlight, now is the time, Taurus. It is now time to make the changes that you need to make for your soul's growth and highest potential, for you to thrive. Gemini, sun, moon, or rising. This is happening in your 9th house. So maybe it has really been coming up for you, your deeper vision, your philosophical views, your belief systems, whether it's religious or cultural, maybe your spiritual practices. Maybe you're being called to teach, but not so much on a mundane level, but on a deeper level of understanding and even spirituality. If that's the case, then this full moon, it's going to become crystal clear the next steps to take. If you're interested in learning about basic astrology and combining it with yoga, I'm doing a course, a yoga and astrology virtual course. So check that out. I'll have a link below. Would love to have you join. But Gemini, for you, this is very much something I could see you being interested in. Or maybe you're just really thinking about international matters or wanting to travel and do things like that, which that's really coming up for you at this time, perhaps. Cancer. This is happening in your 8th house. Cancer, for you, it's been a deep dive with 2 Aquarius full moons occurring in your 8th house, the psychological house, deep psychological understanding. It's also the house of really strong, deep tantric type connections with other people. It's house of other people's money as well, even inheritance. So, or investments. So Cancer, these things could be coming up for you really strongly, but I really feel like for you, it is some deep psychological things that are coming up, patterning, maybe things to look at that need to be released so that you can move on and allow your soul to expand to its highest capacity. Leo, this is big for you. You had that huge new moon in your 1st house, which happened on 8/8. This is happening in your 7th house. So it's the 2nd full moon in a row in the house of relationships. Relationships are big for you right now. It could be ending relationships. It could be inviting in new relationships. You could get a lot of clarity on what you want in relationships. Could even be business partnerships. Everything to do with relationships is really in the spotlight for you right now, Leo. So go with it, and as you always do, follow your heart. You're extremely intuitive. Follow that. Virgo, this full moon is happening in your 6th house. 6th house is the house of health and routines and work and pets. So 2nd full moon in a row in your house of health and routine. So you're getting that nudge again, this spotlight. Okay, what are your health routines? What are you putting into your body? What are your exercise routines like? What are your day-to-day practices? Where can you be more disciplined in it and doing things that really enhance your health and who you are? So Virgo, this is very strong for you. Use this full moon to take initiative and prioritize your own health and well-being. Libra, this is happening in your 5th house. Well, Libra, you now have Venus in your house. So you are definitely turning a lot of heads right now, Libra. You're feeling perhaps more attractive and flirty. And 5th house is the house of romance. It's time for you to go out on dates. Also for you to really tap into your creativity. You are so creative and artsy and musical. This full moon will be shining a light on all of those aspects. Also on children. So anything to do with children, if you're wanting to have children, if you have children of your own, anything that has been coming up with children, romance, creativity, this is the full moon to really perhaps make the changes that need to be made. Scorpio, this is happening in your 4th house, 2nd full moon again in the 4th house. Everything is about home and family. This full moon is bringing those themes up for you. Perhaps you're feeling like you want to move to a new home, or that you want to make changes in your home, or something to do with your family, or maybe it's even there needs to be some forgiveness with family members. Really pay attention. Go inward, and if it's to deal with forgiveness, and do the work so that you can let that burden go. And if it's something that you've been thinking about, a move or a change in your home, 2nd full moon in a row, it's really getting your fixed energy as well. Sometimes you need that little bit of a push to make the change. I am here to tell you this is the push. This full moon is asking you to make a change. Sagittarius, this is happening in your 3rd house. So you are being asked to perhaps your higher wisdom or your philosophical views to bring them more into practical reality. Maybe it's time for you to teach something, to simplify something that is bigger than life, but something like a higher realm of awareness, spiritual concepts, things like that. You are asked perhaps to look at them and simplify them and practically use them in your everyday life. You're another candidate if you were interested at all in this yoga and astrology series that I'm doing, whether it's just a yoga and the astrology series and activating the energies weekly based on what's going on astrologically, or learning more about how to bring that into your everyday life with the full course. There could be something in your neighborhood that is coming up, or something that you hear about with your sibling, or healing with your sibling. So these are all things that could be coming up for you. Capricorn, sun, moon, or rising. This is happening in your second house. So this is happening in your house of finances, the second full moon in a row that is being shown on the house of finances. This is your realm. You understand money. So whatever nudges you are getting, follow them. This full moon is asking you perhaps to make changes, to budget accordingly, to look at your self-worth, to look at your possessions. Perhaps it's time for you, Capricorn, to get rid of possessions that no longer serve you. Something that I think I talked about this last time. Think quality over quantity. Aquarius, second full moon for you in a row. Huge, huge for you. Again, this full moon is happening very close to Jupiter, which has recently retrograded back. It is a big energy for you to realize, to look at every aspect of life for you. How do you step out into the world? How do you want your life to look? Every aspect of your life. This is your full moon. You are in the spotlight. What do you want to do with it? How do you want your future to look? How do you want others to perceive you? What about your appearance? What about what you put into your body and how you exercise? All of it is very much, this full moon is asking you to take a look. And if you didn't the last one, you also are fixed energy. You can be sometimes not so quick to take action. You are being asked to come out with a full rebranded version of who you are. And finally, last but not least, Pisces. This is happening in your 12th house. The 12th house is the house that of retreat. It is that very Piscean house. Second full moon in a row in here, Pisces. I highly suggest that you go into meditation, into ritual at the exact time of this full moon. So Pacific Coast time, 5 o'clock in the morning, adjust for your time zone, and perhaps stay in meditation all the way until 40 minutes later when the moon shifts into Pisces. That's what I will be doing. Absolutely will be doing that. Because the moon, you really are connected to the moon, Pisces, because you're so connected to the other realm, other realms of awareness, spirituality, things of that nature. So going into a meditative state is going to be very productive for you. Great day to perhaps spend the day in silence. I know I will be. The 12th house, which this full moon is occurring in, is the house of retreat. It is the house of going inward. It is the house of really isolation. So it's a psychological house. Go in, see what comes up for you, journal, be in ritual. It's a powerful one. Thank you so much for watching. And if you like it, please press like, subscribe, share, comment. Honored you joined me today. Thank you.